Hare Krishna. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Prabhu, may I do that?
Chandran Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Selekaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutali Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yutapata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnav Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajam Sakagana Raghunadan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesa Gopika Kansa Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavani Sri Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnubhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Garadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So today, I will answer inquiries submitted by devotees, and then we will aim to complete Canto 1, Chapter 15. Important verse is coming up, important learning is coming up from this chapter. First, a quick announcement about the Bhagavad Gita revisions. So, majority of you, except for a couple of you, majority of you say that you don't remember anything, or you don't remember majority of the Bhagavad Gita earlier discussion, and therefore you all would like to revise. Thank you all for responding. So the plan is that in the next 4 classes, by end of May, we will finish Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1. And then from June onwards, we'll revise Bhagavad Gita 2 chapters every class. So I will post this, what you have on screen. You have the schedule. I will post this on Google and send you links so you all can populate in column C where it says devotee presenting. You all should populate your names that you want to present. So I haven't broken it down into the various sections. You all can just pick one whole chapter to present. If at all anybody wants to split, for example, chapter 2 is little bigger and chapter 18 is bigger, you can have 2 devotees present, but you should be comfortable now to present the whole chapter since you all have done presentations multiple times. So I should not have to remind all of you that there are gaps, and many of you may have to do 2 presentations. So start with the first 12 chapters as your first presentation, and if you know the dates that are comfortable for you, even for rest of the chapters, just populate. Majority of you will have to do 2 chapters presentation depending based on the count. So the devotees who didn't respond can still consider to respond and do this exercise of revising Bhagavad Gita, because it is very important to remember. Our goal is to remember, not just put a tick mark. And all those who will populate, I request that you please do not edit. Last time I had to remove everybody's access because some were editing what they were not supposed to edit. And don't put comments, just put your names in column C. If you have challenges, just message me rather than messing up the Google form. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you'll be sharing this with us.
Yeah, I will share with all of you. You'll populate your names for what you plan to present.
Thank you.
All right. So I will bring up on screen inquiries and okay, question 1. Lord Krishna helped Arjuna defeat warriors like Bhishma Dev and Karna with different tactics in the battle of Kurukshetra. Was it all justified as it was Lord's plan to protect his devotees? Okay, so here's a practice for you all. I will give the last line of the Bhagavad Gita verse and you tell me if you remember or you are able to find out the verse. So what is the Bhagavad Gita verse based on the last line? Dhruva nitir matir mama. Somebody, everybody? Dhruva nitir matir mama. Okay, you want me to give you the first line? All right, what's the verse? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I don't remember exact thing, but Sanjay says to Dhritarashtra that Yate Yogeshwara Krishna Tatra Partha Dhanurja, their victory and wealth, all these things lie wherever these two are present.
Very good. So it's last verse of Bhagavad Gita, 18.78. Anybody wants to recite? Nitya?
Yes, Prabhu. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Patro Dhanusara, Tatra Sit, Vitayo Sute, Dhruvanite, Matir Mama.
Right. So last line has Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So you should take your memorization to the next level. That you should know each line, that what exactly it's saying. Abhishek Prabhu did a very good job of remembering the essence. So that's also perfect, that if you don't remember the entire verse, at least you remember the essence. Our goal is to remember the essence. Vijay Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
No, it's okay, Prabhu. Fast. Mataji already say the
You
sloka.
can,
No problem.
Vijay Prabhu,
Thank
you can also recite if you like.
Oh, really? Yatra Yogeshwar Yatra Krishna Patho Dhanudhara Tata Si Vijaya Buddhi Dhuva Niti Mama.
Very good. Abhishek Prabhu, read 18.78 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation: wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
Opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So beyond the material world morality, there is spiritual morality. Therefore, to install Krishna's devotees, such as Yudhishthir and Pandavas on the throne, because kings like Yudhishthir will ensure citizens follow dharma to go back home to Godhead. Therefore, for this mission, whatever is required was done by the Lord. So some may say that for example, Bhishma Dev or Dronacharya or Karna were all killed with some tricks. But this is spiritual morality, which is beyond the material world morality, and therefore it was all justified. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2, multi-part questions. Shri Krishna bestows and withdraws power from us. Why then power of people such as terrorists, corrupt politicians, etc., who exploit and trouble innocent citizens is not withdrawn by him? Is the bad conduct of others also with his approval? And does his justice for unjust people come in this life or future lives? Is it his desire that the bad is being played out? We know about the soul, but experience only one life. Waiting for the passage of entire Kali Yuga before all will be justified and just is difficult to internalize. So the first part of the question about withdrawing power. So Krishna helps those who want to go back home to Godhead. Therefore, Krishna withdraws powers not required to go back home. So the power given to Arjuna were special powers required for mission of the Lord, and such special powers were withdrawn. We have discussed this in the karma discussion as well as Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 discussion, that those who have karmic credit to kill others, Krishna first tells them, do not do such bad activity. But when Jiva is adamant, Krishna sanctions and says, well, you will have to then suffer the consequences of that bad activity. So if I kill someone in my previous life, that person has the karmic credit to kill me in this or future life. So terrorists, mass shooters has the karmic credit to kill the other person. Therefore, Krishna is sanctioning. Now, if terrorist or mass shooter meet a pure devotee before they become terrorists and shooters, and they forgive the other person who killed them in the past, then they stop. So meaning these terrorists and mass shooter, they stop their cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, if they continue their terrorist and mass shooting activity, even if Krishna tells them don't do it, well, then they have to suffer because they have used their free will incorrectly. So they are not trying to reform themselves, and Krishna does not interfere with Jiva's free will. And understand that these are karmic credits which one has to go through. It's the special powers given to Arjuna that were given, but these are karmic credits. The second part of the question, that does his justice for unjust people come in this life or future lives? We have discussed this also in Bhagavad Gita 4.16, 17, 18 karma discussion. Only Krishna knows the one-on-one link, which action leads to which reaction, and when that reaction will manifest. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.16 and 17 that even the intelligent are bewildered on how karma works. The last part of the question is very correct realization that the passage of such a long length of Kali Yuga is difficult to internalize. So the bad in the material world is not Krishna's desire. Rather, this is Jiva's reaction to misuse of free will. It definitely is your correct realization that such a long length of Kali Yuga is mind-boggling. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, describes all the bad that is going to come when real Kali Yuga starts after the first 10,000 years of this Kali Yuga, which are known as Satyug within the Kali Yuga end. So we are right now in that first 10,000 year, the Satyug within Kali Yuga, of which 9,500 years are left. But don't think this to be long. This 9,500 years will go away in a blink. So if you understand that Kali Yuga is bad now, well, it is not really bad. This is just a glimpse of what actually is going to come. So make a goal that this life is your last life and go back home to Godhead. Does that answer the inquiry, Shivangi?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just have a question. Why is it called the Satya Yuga of Kali Yuga? If it's called Satya Yuga of Kali Yuga, doesn't it mean it should be exactly like how Satya Yuga was? Because it's not.
Yeah, it's not exactly like Satyug. It's a concession given that okay, you see all the bad things which are just a glimpse, and the full flourish of Kali Yuga is put on a hold. Therefore, it's called as Satyug. Satyug is called for the first 10,000 years because spirituality is possible in this first 10,000 years. After this first 10,000 years will lapse, it will become next to impossible to endeavor on the path of spirituality. Shivangi?
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. I asked because the naming is a little misleading.
Yeah, I understand. But I clarified that
Mhm.
spirituality is possible. Yes, I understand that the religious principles have dwindled because of Kali Yuga. That stays, but you are able to practice spirituality. Therefore, it is called that, okay, in the first 10,000 years is the Satyug within Kali Yuga.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Nitya?
Prabhu, God helps those devotees who are praying to return back to Him. In that process, He gives us the intelligence, but He will also withdraw all our material, everything. Kinchana Gocharam. He will withdraw it so that we will return back, or it's just for some devotees He would give them that.
Yeah, it depends on whether the material opulences are a hindrance for the devotee or not. So example is for Sudama, material opulences were not a hindrance. He used so much material opulence in worshipping Krishna. So he got more opulences. But it for somebody, if material opulences are becoming a hindrance, means you are spending more time to earn more money and then using the money for your sense gratification. Well, that's a hindrance, and that's what Krishna will withdraw. If you are truly getting the mercy of Krishna. We have discussed this at great length in 10.88.8, very well-known verse, that when Krishna showers his mercy, he withdraws all these material opulences, and then friends and family disregard, and in that condition, the devotee completely surrenders to the Lord. Nitya?
Thank you, sir.
Pragya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just wanted to understand when we say wherever there is Krishna, there will also be opulence, etc. But Krishna is everywhere and he is there. And why are we disconnecting the spiritual presence of Krishna from his physical appearance? Because whether he's physically appeared or not, he's always there. We believe that he's there.
Yeah, it's
So
not about.
if
It's
he's
not
there,
about.
then why bad things are happening when he's there and he's not?
Yeah, it's just
Prabhuji.
so. It's not about the physical appearance. It's about following the instructions. That's what it says wherever there is Krishna. That means that you are following his instructions. But look at demoniac people. They are not following Krishna's instructions. So Krishna is not there for them. Krishna has described that for materialistic people, I am covered by my internal potency and I don't disclose myself. So Krishna is not there. In reality, Krishna is present everywhere. But for those who are not following Krishna's instructions, Krishna is not manifested for them. They don't know. That's the point being made here, that wherever there is Krishna means wherever Krishna is followed, wherever you are glorifying Krishna, not just the physical presence.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nicely explained. Thank you.
Yeah, Vijay Prabhu has correctly mentioned in the chat that Krishna is covered for those who do not believe in Krishna, for those who do not follow spirituality, and those who do not follow his instructions. Very good. Thank you, Vijay Prabhu. Question number 3. Did Arjuna not understand that while he was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna, the coward man who defeated him was Krishna himself? Why did he feel the void in his heart even after being a pure devotee? So there is no mention in the scriptures whether Arjuna knew that he was defeated by Krishna as the coward man. Rather, Arjuna says he was defeated by coward men. So we will not speculate what is not given in the scriptures. We will just take it as it is, that Arjuna simply said he was defeated by coward men. Acharyas have explained for us that how was all this possible, that actually that coward man was Krishna himself, and he came to take back the 16,108 wives, as well as to satisfy the curse and the blessing of the moody. And in terms of anxiety, so Arjuna and all pure devotees have anxiety due to separation from Krishna. It's not material world anxiety. Does that answer the inquiry?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 4. The verse 1.1.20 talks about guarding the body of wives of Krishna. Why a specific mention about body here? Arjuna says that he was defeated like a weak woman. Why this reference of an abala? So with the reference to abala, loss of bodily luster, Arjuna is saying that as Krishna has gone back, hence Arjuna has lost all bodily luster. Does that answer the inquiry?
Sorry, Prabhuji, about the weak woman.
Say it again, Pragya.
About the weak woman, he was defeated like a weak woman.
Yeah, so he has lost all his bodily luster. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Okay, question number 5. Everybody will answer my questions. It's a fun analogy that will answer this question. So question number 5 is, living entity also desire and many times does hard work to attain a skill like playing better sports by doing regular practice. How to understand this? Is this expertise by the Lord in this example and also in our lives? So everybody will participate. That I will explain analogy from Canto 2 discussion on Sarga. Sarga means primary creation by the Lord. So all of you answer my series of next questions, one after the other, or you can put your answer in the chat. I'm assuming in my questions that you all do not know how to make a pot using mud and water. Like you would have seen a pot maker sitting on a wheel, circulating, and he's making a pot out of mud and water. So I'm assuming you all don't have the expertise to make a pot like this, how a pot maker makes. And if my assumption is incorrect, then you can correct me. So here's my first question. I'll try to answer. Can a pot maker, the expert pot maker, make a pot from soil? Everybody, yes, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay. Probably unanimous, yes. Yes, question number 2. Can a pot maker make a dhoti out of soil? Everybody?
No, Prabhu.
No.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So you will say, well, pot maker is not an expert about dhoti or cloth and you need a tailor. Okay, here's my next question. Can a tailor make a dhoti out of soil?
No. No, Prabhu.
Shivangi says maybe. Okay, rest of you?
No problem.
No way, Prabhu.
Okay. So, okay. Now, last question, and then I will answer. What will happen if you all try to make a pot out of soil using that wheel? Everybody, please answer.
Will be unable to make the pot because having no skills or experience.
Okay.
Won't be able to do it, Prabhuji.
Pragya, repeat.
We won't be able to do it.
Okay, it's possible you may be able to make something, but not a very good pot like an expert pot maker. Is that correct understanding?
Prabhuji,
Yes,
are we
Prabhu, we
making
can't do
Yes,
pot?
Prabhuji.
Pragya, repeat.
Sorry, Prabhuji, are we making pot or we are making cloth?
Pot.
Okay, yeah. Yes,
So
we can try.
So you can try. It may not come out perfect because you are not an expert, but it's possible you may be able to make something. Isn't that correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Correct. So here, now understand this. So I laid the foundation. So you are not an expert in making a pot from mud, even though you have all the ingredients and the required equipment. But it may come out something, just not perfect. So what this means is, pot maker can make the pot because the knowledge is there in the earth to make the pot. Therefore, you all may also be able to make a pot from the soil, just may not be perfect. Now, wanting to make a dhoti from the soil, whether it's a pot maker wanting to make a dhoti or whether an expert tailor wanting to make a dhoti from the soil is not possible because that knowledge of dhoti is not there in the soil. Similarly, Lord has created everything, and the initial ingredients for creation that were given by the Lord has everything inbuilt, just as humans have inbuilt ability to walk and birds have inbuilt ability to fly. Humans do not have the inbuilt ability to fly. So coming back to the question, so all these sports, etc. abilities are already inbuilt in a particular body by the Lord as part of Sarga, primary creation. Does that answer the inquiry? Everybody had fun with the analogy?
Yes, Prabhu.
perfect knowledge, Prabhu.
Only couple devotees, rest of you did not have fun?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
was.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Tara, was it yes for no fun?
For fun.
Okay. Abhishek Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhuji, the ability is there and the practice part is also there. So, are we weighing one more than the other?
So I already described that if somebody does not have the ability, no matter what practice you will do, you will not be an expert in that field that you are trying to do. Right? So first, that primary creation by the Lord, that primary thing has to be there. By practice, you are just unearthing what is already inbuilt in you. Yes, practice is required. I'm not saying practice is not required. But understand that if somebody does not have a particular skill, no matter what practice you do, it's not possible to get that skill.
And each body is invested with different skills. So there are skills which even if I try, I can't learn, and there are others which I can. Like, is
Yeah,
it so?
yeah, you are correct. So based on your desire, based on your karmic credit, everyone is given a particular body, and the skill is inbuilt. If you don't practice, you will not have that skill manifested. But if you practice, you will go on to become an expert. You will see that small kids, newborn kid, will have a particular ability. Say, you must have seen that small kid playing this piano to perfection. How is it possible? Why? Because it's inbuilt in him. I may try to learn as much as possible. And believe me, I have tried to learn piano, but I don't have that skill. So it never manifested in me. Yeah, I was trying to, I was able to play a little bit with what somebody was trying to teach me, but it doesn't there, that skill is not there in me.
So, for my understanding, Prabhuji, it's just a perception that when someone does hard work and achieves a skill, we start seeing the skill as a result of this person's hard work. But in actuality, the ingredients are also present within him. But for ordinary vision, they don't know about it, so they credit the hard worker for the skill. But
Yeah,
like for like the
that
child
is,
example which you gave, it is very clear that like for child's case, many people they call it as a blessing
yeah,
because they know the child has not worked hard.
yeah, yeah. So if somebody thinks that I have a particular skill because of my hard work, that is 3.27. That vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Right?
Yes, thank you.
Everybody on the same page?
Prabhuji, what verse? 3 point, you say?
3.27. Anybody remembers, wants to recite? Vijay Prabhu's favorite verse, 3.27.
Yeah.
I'm okay to repeat the
Vimal Prabhu, go ahead. Vimal Prabhu, we cannot hear you. Vimal Prabhu, we cannot hear you. Somebody else wants to recite?
Prabhuji,
Go Pragya.
प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ आत्मा कर्ता हमति मान्यते.
Very good.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Malti, you got it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
All
you.
right. Question number 6. When Krishna as coward man defeated Arjuna and took all his 16,108 wives to Vrindavan Leela, question is, here Krishna is son of Vasudeva and Devaki, not the son of Mother Yashoda of Vrindavan. So how can he take them to Vrindavan Leela as queens have awe and reverence mood? So very, very important question to understand. So we read in Canto 1, chapter 15, that Krishna has wrapped up his earthly pastime and Krishna has gone back to Goloka Vrindavan. Therefore, all other incarnations have also gone back. So when Krishna came to take back home the 16,108 wives, it is the original Krishna who came to get the wives. Plus, the queens that were in Dwarka, they were, yes, in the mood of awe and reverence. And acharyas have described that now Krishna is giving the queens an opportunity to get into Vrindavan pastimes. That's why it's described that Krishna took back the queens to Vrindavan pastime. Yes, by default, they were in the mood of awe and reverence, but Krishna is giving them an opportunity to move up to Vrindavan pastimes. Does that answer the inquiry?
Is this a special case where the rasas may change?
Yeah, it's a special case. You are correct.
Okay, thank
Last question for today. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.7 describes Draupadi's another name as Krishna as well. So during our chanting, if we pronounce Krishna as Krishna, meaning Draupadi's another name, then to whom we really are praying. So very important to understand this, and we'll read 1.15.7 from this. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Krishna is spelled with a single A at the end. And Draupadi's another name is Krishna. This Draupadi's name Krishna is spelled with two A's, double A at the end. So Draupadi's name Krishna is spelled as Krishna. So I want, let's see who can go to Shivangi. Go to 1.15.7 purport. The last line where which starts with when Arjuna in the dress of poor Brahmana.
Just looking for it, Prabhuji.
Yep. Towards the very end. Last 3-4 lines.
When Arjuna, in the dress of a poor Brahmana, pierced the difficult target, everyone was astonished, and all of them, especially Karna, offered a stiff fight to Arjuna. But as usual, by the grace of Lord Krishna, he was able to emerge very successful in the princely fight, and thus gain the valuable hand of Krishna or Draupadi. Arjuna was lamentingly remembering the incident in the absence of the Lord, by whose strength only he was so powerful. Hare Krishna.
So if you look clearly, so this is Lord Krishna. Krishna is spelled with single A. And this Krishna or Draupadi, the Krishna is spelled with double A. There's a little dash on top of A. That is Krishna. So that's the distinction. Now coming back to the question and the second part of the question. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1 describes that Atri Muni was praying to some higher authority, not knowing the full knowledge about Supreme Lord. Therefore, Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva together manifested in front of him. And Atri Muni is asking all three, Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva, that to whom was he, Atri Muni, praying? He doesn't know whom he is praying to. But you all know that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when you are chanting, remembering, meditating, you are meditating on Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not Krishna, the Draupadi. Does that answer the inquiry? Everybody on the same page? Vijay Prabhu? We cannot hear you. Vijay Prabhu, we cannot hear you. You can write in the chat. Or
I have found problem.
okay, Vijay Prabhu, now we can hear you. Yeah, Vijay Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah, you are right, actually, so when we are chanting, what is our consciousness important? Sometimes maybe pronounce wrong, but what is our consciousness? And Krishna will count that consciousness. On that, that is a point. It's a very good point. So in the same case with Atri Muni, his consciousness was focused on the right person. So those people immediately appear in front of him. That's a good thing. Thank you.
Very good. Pragya?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was just saying that when we write it in Sanskrit, it's Krishna and it is Krishna. Aki matra hai. So actually it is Krishna, but I don't know why people pronounce in Hare Krishna. We put that E in English. So, but
Yeah.
actually in Sanskrit, there is no Aki matra. So
Yeah.
it's Krishna.
So Vijay Prabhu correctly described that consciousness is important. So when you, whichever way you write, yeah, if you can write it properly, by all means write it properly. But the consciousness is more important. That when you are trying to meditate, you are not meditating on Draupadi. You are meditating on Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Ji Prabhuji, Vijay Prabhu's comment was really nice.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So now striking points, take snapshot. You have 3 slides. This is slide number 1. This is slide number 2. And slide number 3. Questions, comments, realizations. Right. So you all had some questions to answer. You want to answer those questions? Somebody quickly.
Can I please, Prabhu,
Yeah,
for the first question?
Yeah, Chandran Prabhu, go ahead.
Why did the Lord withdraw Arjuna's special power? That was the question. The special power of Arjuna was required for fulfillment of the mission of love. When the mission was fulfilled, the powers were withdrawn from Arjuna. They were not meant for going back to Godhead. That the purpose was not the power, hence it was withdrawn. And the lesson what we learned out of this was, no one should be puffed up for his powers borrowed from the Lord. Must utilize such power for the service of the Lord. Otherwise, it can be withdrawn by the Lord at any time. This is
Very
the
good.
humble.
Okay, very good. Everything got covered. Somebody else, the other points, other question?
Also, Prabhuji, just one small thing that such powers were not required by him to go back to Godhead, which was the mission that he was to proceed on here on.
Okay, very good. Shivangi?
The second question, Prabhuji, explain how the cowherd men were able to defeat Arjuna. The cowherd men, it was Krishna himself, so obviously he was able to defeat even Arjuna. And the queens had well, queens' bodies were not allowed to be touched by anyone other than Krishna. And there was a whole pastime where they made fun of a sage, so this had to happen.
All right, very good. Thank you. So we covered up to Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse number 20. Last class, we were supposed to cover up to 26 because those are straightforward verses. So we'll read through those verses. We just ran out of time last class. So let's read Dhara 21 to 26 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 21. I have the very same Gandhi bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjun to whom all the kings offered their due respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. Text 22:23. O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmins, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Text 24. Factually, this is all due to supreme will of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another. Text 25-26. O king, as in the ocean, the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker, and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. Hare Krishna.
So the Yadu dynasty's pastime is described that because of the curse that Krishna used the curse of Gandhari to get all these Yadus back to Godhead, because it was impossible for anybody to kill them. So many of you may know that that somebody was again making fun of some Brahmana, and he got cursed that okay, you are pretending to have a child in somebody's womb, and it turned out to be a metal, and he said, okay, then a metal will come out from a mother's womb. And that's actually happened. And so they ground the metal and drain it into a river, and it actually became grass inbuilt with that metal. And in intoxication, they used that grass, or which was metal from what came out, and which was churned and thrown there, and all of them killed each other, not recognizing what they were doing. But actually they knew what was going. They were just playing a part as in a drama. Questions, comments, realizations? Nitya?
Prabhu, the Yadu dynasty refers to the family of Lord Krishna, the sons and grandsons.
Correct. All right. So, Pragya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this means making them in that kind of, bringing them in that kind of stage that they are getting drunk, they are beating each other with sticks. Why could Krishna just not have taken them? Why do they have to make it bad like this, in bad environment, and then justifying that their work was over, so they could have gone? They could have gone anyway. They were all pure devotees.
Yeah, you are
So why
correct.
they have
So
to get into such bad kind of things, that drinking and hitting each other?
you are correct. So there was a curse by Gandhari. So Krishna used that curse. He doesn't want to let that go because it's a curse has to manifest. He said, okay, I will use the curse to get the Yadus back home to Godhead. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Matan Prabhu?
So they had they had a big population. Krishna's children and grandchildren, they numbered over 1 billion something. Is that true?
You are correct.
So they everybody got died this way.
Yeah, Arjuna, we read in one of the verses, except for 4 or 5, everybody died.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Divya, 27 translation and then purport 1, paragraph 1 and 2, faster pace.
Hare Krishna. 27
Louder, please.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji? Is that better?
Yes, slightly better.
Okay. Translation. Now I'm attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart, in all circumstances of time and space. Purport. Herein Arjuna refers to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord Himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and higher sections of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of the Lord from the vision of the earthly people, when Arjuna was face to face with being vanquished in his acquired power and prominence, he wanted again to remember the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, just to teach all concerned. The Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of mental agony, but also for the way out of great entanglements which may embarrass one in some critical hour. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita, or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord, is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord.
So this is the lesson for all of us to remember Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita can be consulted at all critical times and to attain peace. Bhagavad Gita is sound representation of Krishna. The last line we just read. One can get the same benefit from reading and remembering Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna got from the personal presence of the Lord. So what I suggested at our last class that we should revise Bhagavad Gita, I did not make it up. It comes right from the scriptures that we should remember and read Bhagavad Gita again and again. Therefore, what you have on the screen, majority of you did respond to me. Thank you all that we should remember and revise Bhagavad Gita, because right now I don't remember. Yes, we have read Bhagavad Gita, but I don't remember. Therefore, I will send it to you, and those of you who have not responded, you can also consider. There's no pressure, but you can consider to also revise Bhagavad Gita together with the rest of the devotees. Shivangi?
Prabhuji, is there a time limit? We normally put a time limit.
Yeah, you will recognize. Very good. So I did have a column when I was making this. I did have a column here that I would put time limit, but we are past that learning stage, majority of us. So you can take about 10-12 minutes for each chapter. We will also read as we get closer. I will explain more, but the devotee presenting should take about 10-12 minutes for each chapter. But it's not hard and fast that you should stick that exactly 10 minutes. You can go 9, you can go 11. I'm not gonna sit here with a stick, but generally you use 10 minutes as your guiding principle for each chapter. Shivangi and everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. So our goal is not to put a tick mark that we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam or we finish complete Srimad Bhagavatam. No, we have to follow the instructions. We just read directly from the verse 1.15.27 paragraph. Clearly said, you should remember Bhagavad Gita. There's no difference between Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita and Krishna himself. And you get the same benefit from reading and remembering Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna got from the personal presence of the Lord. So all those who are still in the thinking mode, you should all consider to revise Bhagavad Gita again and again with the rest of the devotees. So our plan is that we will finish Canto 1 by end of May, the next 4 classes. And then from June, every week, each week we will revise 2 chapters at a time. Everybody on the same page? All right. Nitya, 28, 29 translations.
Yes, Prabhu. Text 28. Sutta Goswami said, thus, being deeply absorbed into thinking of the instructions of the Lord which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. Text 29. Arjuna's constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna, rapidly increased his devotion, and as a result, all the trash in his thoughts subsided.
So Arjuna thus got pacified by remembering Bhagavad Gita. I don't know about you, but at least I do have anxieties in the material world. So Arjuna is giving a solution. Srimad Bhagavatam is giving a solution. Remember Bhagavad Gita. That's why I recommended, and many of you correctly chose that, yes, we will revise. So thank you all again. Gauri will read verse 30 translation and then last paragraph, which starts, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his relatives.
Hare Krishna. Verse 30 translation. Because of the Lord's pastimes and activities, and because of his absence, it appeared that Arjun forgot the instructions left by the personality of Godhead. But factually, this was not the case, and again he became lord of his senses. And so from therefore, such apparently
Last
material.
paragraph.
Oh, sorry. Arjun had no desire to fight with his relatives, but he fought for the mission of the Lord. He was always engaged in the execution of his mission only, and therefore, after the Lord's departure, he remained in the same transcendental position, even though it appeared that he forgot all the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore adjust the activities of life in pace with the mission of the Lord. And by doing this, one is sure to return back home, back to Godhead. This is the highest perfection of life.
We have to adjust our life in pace with mission of the Lord. What is the mission of the Lord? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It is mentioned previously in Bhagavatam. I think we have discussed that the mission of the Lord is to take back, to reclaim the fallen souls back to spiritual world.
Yeah, very good. Correct point. All right. Chandan Prabhu, 31, 32, 33.
Question.
Abhishek Prabhu.
Why does it say it appears that Arjuna has forgotten the, like, where does it describe that it appears that it was seeming that he has forgotten?
Yeah, it may appear from how he was living that, okay, he has anxiety, and therefore did he forget? But that's for us to learn that he didn't forget. He's just showing it for us that when you have anxiety, you remember Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, and that way you get the same benefit. Abhishek Prabhu.
Thank you.
Chandan Prabhu, 31, 32, 33 translations, all are straightforward.
Hare Krishna. 31. Because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus, he was freed from the 3 modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death, for he has freed from material form. Text 32. Upon hearing of Lord Krishna's returning to his abode, and upon understanding the end of the Yadu dynasty's earthly manifestation, Maharaja Yudhishthira decided to go back home, back to Godhead. Text 33. Kunti, after overhearing Arjuna's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty and disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention, and thus gained relief from the course of material existence.
So, Lord's departure is explained with an analogy of the sun in one of the purports, that when the sun sets in the west side, does not mean that sun is no longer there. It is just that the sun is not visible to me, but sun continues to exist. Similarly, Krishna is ever present. Krishna concludes his pastime in one planet and then continues his pastime in another planet. So from this point, it's all described that how all the Pandavas decide to go back home to Godhead, and one after the other, everyone goes back to Godhead, and multiple important learning points are coming up from next set of verses, as well as one of the verse that we were discussing last class, probably about Pragya, talking about Vidura. There's a direct verse that talks about this is coming up very, very soon. All right. Malti, 34, translation and purport, faster pace.
34. The Supreme Unborn Lord Sri Krishna caused the member of the Yadu dynasty of relinquish their bodies, and thus he revealed the burden of the world. This action was like picking out of thorn with the thorn, though both are same to the controller.
Yeah, before Malti reads the purport, there's a very important point discussed about burden of the earth. So looks like the demons are also called burden, and the devotees, meaning the Yadu family, are also called burden. So how do we understand this? Very, very nicely explained in the purport with an analogy. Malti? Malti, we cannot hear you.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead now.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura suggests that Rishi like Sonika and others who were hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami at Nemi Saranya were not happy to hear about the Yadus dying in the madness of intoxication. To give them a relief from this material agony, Sutta Goswami assured that the Lord caused the member of the Yadu's dynasty of relinquish their body, by which they had to take away the burden of the world. The Lord and his eternal associate appeared on the earth to help administrative demigods in eradicating the burden of the world. He therefore called for some of the confidential demigods to appear in the Yadu family and serve him in his great mission. After the mission was fulfilled, the demigods, by the will of Lord, relinquished their corporeal body of fighting amongst themselves in the madness of intoxication. The demigods are accustomed to drinking the soma rasa beverage, and therefore the drinking of wine and intoxication are not unknown to them. Sometimes they were put into trouble for indulging in the intoxication. Once the son of Kaurava fell in the wrath of Narada for being intoxicated, but afterward they regained their original form by the grace of Lord Krishna. We shall find this story in the 10th canto. For the Supreme Lord, both the asuras and demigods are equal, but the demigods are obedient to the Lord, whereas the asura are not. Therefore, the example of picking out of the thorn by another thorn is quite benefiting. One thorn which is caused pinpricks on the leg of the Lord is certainly disturbing to the Lord, and the other thorn which take out the disturbing elements certainly gives the service to the Lord. So although every living being is a part and parcel of the Lord, still one who is bringing of to the Lord is called Asura, and one who is voluntary servitor of the Lord called Devata or demigods. In the material world, the Devatas and Asura are always contending, and the Devatas are always saved from the hands of Asura by the Lord. Both of them are under the control of the Lord. The Lord is full of two kinds of the living beings, and the Lord's mission is always to protect the Devatas and destroy the Asuras whenever there is such a need in the world, and to do good to both of them. Hare Krishna.
So, Pragya's question couple of minutes ago got answered in the purport at the very initial couple of lines, where it says to give relief from this mental agony to the sages of Naimisharanya, exactly how Pragya also had this mental agony. Sutta Goswami assured the sages that the Lord caused the members of Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, by which they had to take away the burden of the world. And further, it goes on to describe, Srimad Bhagavatam goes on to describe that actually in this Yadu dynasty's annihilation, what had actually happened was the bodies of Yadus, they had two souls. Each of the Yadus, there were two souls. One, the demigods, and one, the eternal associates of the Lord. So this fighting, this comes up later in, I think it's in Canto 2 or Canto 3 someplace. Should be Canto 3. That this fighting of the Yadus killing each other was actually the demigods going to the banks of the river and fighting amongst each other. The eternal associates, which also was the additional soul in their body, they never went to that place. They left and went back home to Godhead without fighting directly from wherever they were. So it describes further. I'm just in the context, I'm explaining ahead of time, but it will come up later. So for the Lord, the demons and demigods are equal. The analogy of the thorn is described that there was unnecessary headache and burden created by the demons. So demigods had prayed to the Lord to appear. Therefore, Krishna used a thorn, meaning Krishna used demigods to remove the burden, means to remove the burden thorn from the earth. Questions, comments, realizations? Again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So this thorn analogy is very nice, Prabhuji. So is it okay to understand that everything is a thorn? So if it pricks, it is asur. If it is used to remove the that pricking thorn, then that is devata. So is it that thorn is an analogy for our body? So everybody has got a body. What we use our body for, whether we use it for pricking somebody or we use it for relieving somebody, that is what matters, how the body is used. So
Absolutely
how is the
correct.
thing used?
Yeah. Absolutely correct. Everything is coming from the Lord. Whether you use it for your own satisfaction, then it is material. Use it for Krishna's service, then it becomes spiritual. Very good. Correct understanding. Nitya?
Prabhu, Lord's mission was to appear to eradicate the burden in the material world. That is the asuras and the demons. But he brought in, or he had a very large entourage for executing this mission. I mean, he had unsurpassed powers. So why did he need such a big entourage that added more to the burden to remove also the burden of the world?
So this burden, very good. And Abhishek Prabhu has the same point explained or inquired in the chat. So this burden is also described in later on in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is described with an analogy. Say what the Lord is calling as the burden for the Yadus is the burden of separation. So for the analogy explained later on in Srimad Bhagavatam about this burden is that the husband and wife, when they engage in physical activity, the husband seemingly is a burden on the wife being on top. But the wife is not calling that as a burden. The wife actually likes that as a burden. So when the husband is away, the wife is missing the husband. The wife is actually missing that burden because there is a loving relation. So that is explained later on in Srimad Bhagavatam with this analogy that what Krishna has called this as burden for the Yadus, they are the burden of separation for the Lord. Nitya and Abhishek Prabhu and everybody.
Prabhu, just a follow-up. But with the very large Yadu dynasty that the Lord has created, was it because in the spiritual world everything is unlimited? So when he appeared here, it still was, it had to be similar to the spiritual world.
You are
a
correct.
very large family.
Yeah, and we read that for satisfying his mission, he needed his associates. He cannot use ordinary people like me in his mission. I will go, what are you asking me? Why are you asking me? No, the eternal associates know the plan of the Lord and they know how to follow the orders of the Lord. Therefore, he brought so many of them and then took all of them. It's not that spiritual world was empty, but they are his eternal associates. So he wants all of them back. Nitya?
Yes.
Somebody else also, Chandran Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I'm not able to understand. The others have two souls. You said that one the demigod and the one.
Yeah.
Two souls for the Yadus.
Yeah, so all Yadus had two souls within their body. One was the soul of the eternal associates, and one was for the demigods. So all that killing or all this last pastime of Yadu killing each other was actually the demigod soul that went with the body to the bank of the river where they fought each other. While the other soul, that soul never went to the banks. So they were essentially never involved in that fight to begin with. They just left from wherever they were. I think in Canto 3 it gives the place. I can't remember right now. I think it's Pravas or someplace. I can't remember exactly. They just left from there. It's a fact that there were two souls, and including in the body of Pandavas also, there were two souls. One, the Pandavas as the eternal associates, and the other was demigods. Now, to understand these two souls within a body, how is it possible? You can understand the example of the ghost. So, how a ghost happens is, say, somebody has a lifespan of 85 years and he commits a suicide, say, at age of 65. So, for next 20 years, his next body is not yet ready. So, for 20 years, this person stays as a ghost, but he still has desires, but no body. Therefore, the ghost tries to occupy the body of other. So those who get haunted or being occupied by a ghost, well, there's actually that other soul coming into this person's body. That's how you understand that it is possible for two souls, but that again, not every day. It's under special circumstances. Chandan Prabhu,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Divya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So the question is, did the demigods then go back to just the higher planets and then the eternal associates are the ones who went back to Godhead, or both of them went to Godhead?
You are correct that eternal associates went back home to Godhead, and the demigods went back to their heavenly abodes, not to Godhead.
So they were still in the material world only.
They were still in the
Universe.
material world, yes.
Okay.
So you will
Thank you.
hear this story now. It's not there in Srimad Bhagavatam, but you will hear someplace that some say, actually Abhishek Prabhu had asked this question earlier, that some say that Pandavas went back home to Godhead, and some say that Pandavas went back to heaven. Well, which is correct? Well, both are correct, and you understand that there were two souls. So the eternal associates Pandavas, they went back to Goloka Vrindavan, and the demigod that was there also, they went back to heaven.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That makes sense.
Nitya, is that another question or hand from before?
No, Prabhu, just a follow-up. So, Lord's eternal associates are the ones who are endowed with two souls. Now, all the regular human beings, living entities, they only occasionally, not occasionally, some of them will get a second soul, but it's not, it's complicated, it seems. But will the regular entities have two souls?
Yeah, it's all regular entities will have one soul. It's only, you are correct. You correctly describe it's complicated. It's only special circumstances.
Okay, sir.
All right. Pragya.
Prabhuji, we read about this twice born Brahmins. They are the ones who have got first life and second as initiated life. Is that so? And is two souls in a body, it is them also?
No, it's the same soul. Initiation is just awakening the soul.
So, Prabhuji, is that why they are called twice born?
No, twice born is you are awakening. So first born, you get the body. The twice born, the soul is awakened. That's the
which is through initiation.
Through initiation, correct.
Okay, Prabhuji. And but two souls is a different. The example that you gave, 85 years life. So, Prabhuji, this when that person dies, he has actually lost the body. So, Yamaraj is not taking his soul back.
So what? The one who committed suicide?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so I explained that Yamaraj is not taken because his next body is not yet scheduled. So where is he going? His next body is after 20 years. So for 20 years, because he has committed suicide earlier, 20 years early than when he was supposed to leave his body. Well, for 20 years, his next cycle is not yet ready. So here he stays as a ghost, that's why.
Okay, Prabhuji. So there is no Yamlok where souls are there. There is just means you leave one body and get into another.
No, there is Yamlok where souls go to get punished. It's described at great length in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3 towards end. And that is horrible discussion. Shivangi and Chandan Prabhus have heard that discussion. It is horrible discussion about the punishment we all have gone through and we all will go through if we don't rectify ourselves. So there is Yamalok where souls are punished. But this particular individual was committed suicide. Well, his punishment was scheduled at the age of 85. Right now, it's not there in the schedule to get punished if he was supposed to get punished. And For 20 years, he has to stay somewhere. So if you recall, I can show you right now also. Let me show that visual and it will become clear that in the planets of the 14 planetary system, one of the planet is the planet of ghost and such entities. Let's see. So if I zoom in here, one of the planet here, it says Bhuvarloka, Rakshasa and Ghost. So they stay here. But because they live in a subtle form, they have little ability to move in their subtle capacity from one place to the other. Pragya and everybody? Divya?
Prabhuji, so Yamlok and Nark is same. Swarg, Nark.
Yeah, Yamlok and Nark is one and the same, where souls get punished by Yamraj and Yamadutas.
Thank you.
Divya?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the suicide concept, I thought most things in our life are karmically destined because of our karma. So suicide is not, that is a free will thing.
You are correct.
Like,
suicide is not destined. It's a misuse of free will.
Misuse of free will. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
All right. So the way we are progressing, we will most likely not be able to complete this chapter 15 today because there are important points from next verses onward. So that's okay. We will extend chapter 15 into one additional class as well. All right. So verse number 35, also another example is given with an analogy that Lord quitting his body is like jugglery of a magician. As well as the disappearance of the sun analogy is also described, that when sun sets in the west, sun is still there in another part. It's just not visible. So both these analogies are described in verse number 35, important analogies. Matan Prabhu, 35 translation and purport, as well as 36 translation.
Hare Krishna. 35. The Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifested to diminish the burden of the earth. Just like a magician, he relinquishes one body to accept different ones, like the fish incarnation and others. Purport. The Supreme Lord personality of Godhead is neither impersonal nor formless, but his body is non-different from him, and therefore he is known as embodiment of eternity, knowledge and bliss. In Brihat Vaishnava Tantra, it is clearly mentioned that anyone who considers the form of the Lord Krishna to be made of material energy must be ostracized by all means. And if by chance the face of such an infidel is seen, one must clean himself by jumping in the river with his clothing. The Lord is described as Amrita or deathless, because he has no material body. Under the circumstances, the Lord's dying or quitting his body is like the jugglery of a magician. The magician shows by his tricks that he is cut to pieces, burned to ashes, or made unconscious by hypnotic influences, but all are false shows only. Factually, the magician himself is neither burnt to ashes nor cut to pieces, nor is he dead or unconscious at any stage of his magical demonstration. Similarly, the Lord is eternal forms of the unlimited variety of which the fish incarnation, as was exhibited within this universe, is also one. Because there are innumerable universes, somewhere or other, the fish incarnation must be manifesting his pastimes without cessation. In this verse, the particular word Tade, eternally accepted, and not the word Tidva, accepted for the occasion, is used. The idea is that Lord does not create the fish incarnation. He eternally has such a form, and the appearance and disappearance of such an incarnation serves particular purposes. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:24-25, the Lord says, the impersonalists think that I have no form, that I am formless, but at present I have accepted a form to serve a purpose, and now I am manifested. But such speculators are factually without sharp intelligence. Though they may be good scholars in the Vedic literatures, they are practically ignorant of my inconceivable energies and my eternal form of the personality. The reason is that I reserve the power of not being exposed to the non-devotee by my mystic curtain. The less intelligent fools are therefore unaware of my eternal form, which is never to be vanquished and is unborn. In the Padma Purana, it is said that those who are envious and always angry at the Lord are unfit to know the actual and eternal form of the Lord. In the Bhagavatam, also it is said that the Lord appeared like a thunderbolt to those who were restless. Sisubala, at the time of being killed by the Lord, could not see him as Krishna, being dazzled by the glare of the Brahma Jyoti. Therefore, the temporary manifestation of the Lord as a thunderbolt to the restless, appointed by Kamsa, or clearing appearance of the Lord before Sisupala was relinquished by the Lord. But the Lord as a magician is externally existent and is never vanquished in any circumstance.
Eternally existent. Lord as magician is eternally existent.
Okay, eternal existence. Eternal, okay, and is never vanquished in any circumstance. Such forms are temporarily shown to the asuras only, and when such exhibition are withdrawn, the asuras think that the Lord is no more existent. Just as the foolish audience thinks the magician to be burnt to ashes or cut to pieces. The conclusion is that Lord has no material body, and therefore he is never to be killed or changed by his transcendental body. Verse 36. When the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, left his earthly planet in his self-same form, from that very day, Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with a poor fund of knowledge. Purport. The
That's
influence
it.
of
Hold on. So, nice analogy explained about Lord's quitting the body is like the jugglery of a magician. The magician is not killed, not cut, but the audience may feel like that. Similarly, Lord's body is eternal, doesn't die. And the sun analogy is also described that when sun sets in one place, does not mean sun is gone. Sun continues to exist. People do not understand all these about the Lord because of ignorance. That's what we read in verse 36 also. It says, because of poor fund of knowledge. Questions, comments, realizations? All right. Now, everybody pay attention. Verses 37 to 44 are on Yudhishthir's retirement. So, a couple verses back we read that Yudhishthir and the Pandavas decided to go back home to Godhead. So for these verses 37 to 44, it's described about Yudhishthir's retirement, and we will discuss what is the lesson for us from Yudhishthir's retirement. So as we read through these verses and purports, note down key points as we read through, and we will pause after each verse to discuss that what is Yudhishthir Maharaj teaching us from this incident of retirement. Basically, Yudhishthir Maharaj is teaching us that the day you start your grahastha life, meaning the day you get married, that's the day you plan your retirement. I don't know about you. I have not done that. So that's a very important learning for all of us from all these purports. So note key points from each of the verse and purports that we will read from 37 to 44. Therefore, I said that we will not finish this chapter 15 today. Okay, let's read. Mayank Prabhu, 37 translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Maharaja Yudhishthir was intelligent enough to understand the influence of the age of Kali, characterized by increasing avarice, falsehood, cheating, and violence throughout the capital, state, home, and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and he dressed accordingly. The present age is influenced by the specific qualities of Kali since the days of the Battle of Kurukshetra. About 5,000 years ago, the influence of the age of Kali began manifesting, and from authentic scriptures, it is learned that the age of Kali is still to run on for 4,27,000 years. The symptoms of the Kali Yuga, as mentioned above, namely avarice, falsehood, diplomacy, cheating, nepotism, violence, and all such things, are already in vogue, and no one can imagine what is going to happen gradually with further increase of the influence of Kali till the day of annihilation. If we are already we have already come to know the influence of the age of Kali is meant for godless, so-called civilized man. Those who are under the protection of the Lord have nothing to fear from this horrible age. Maharaja Yudhishthir was a great devotee of the Lord, and there was no necessity of his being afraid of the age of Kali. But he preferred to retire from active household life and prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. The Pandavas are eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore they are more interested in the company of the Lord than anything else. Besides that, being an ideal king, Maharaja Yudhishthir wanted to retire just to set an example for others. As soon as there is some young fellow to look after the household affairs, one should at once retire from family life to uplift oneself to spiritual realization. One should not rot in the dark well of household life till one is dragged out by the will of Yamaraja. Modern politicians should take lessons from Maharaja Yudhishthir about voluntary retirement from active life and should make room for the younger generation. Also, retired old gentlemen should take lessons from him and leave home for spiritual realization before being forcefully dragged away to meet death.
So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that when one is under Krishna's instruction, then one is free from Kali Yuga. So Yudhishthir and Pandavas and all these pure devotees, they have nothing to fear. But if you are not under Krishna's instruction, then you are tormented. Yudhishthir, seeing that Kali has entered, Yudhishthir put Parikshit Maharaj on the throne. Yudhishthir cut off his attachments and he left home. So soon we'll read that Yudhishthir, Pandavas, Draupadi, Kunti Maharani, Vidura, everybody will leave one after the other and go back home, back to Godhead. So what are some of the key points that you found from verse 37? Everybody, please answer.
Bapuji, one should not rot in the dark well of household.
All right, very good.
Modern politicians also should learn from Maharaja Yudhishthira voluntary retirement.
Yeah, very good.
For the younger generation.
Yeah, very good. Correct point that, yeah, politicians, they carry on till till forever, till Yamraj comes knocking at their door. Very good. Rest of you.
Prabhuji, I have a question. May I ask? Prabhuji, there's what I was understanding from the purport was that he was sensing that this age of Kali has come because of all the things that he was seeing. So he thought of it as a good time to go. So it was not that he found a better successor and he wanted to leave the country and the place in better hands and thought that he should retire. He retired because of some other thing that is described here, because it is age of Kali and he should go back to Godhead. So
Yeah,
I was just confused with the reason of his retirement. Was it that he wanted a better successor or younger successor to take care of the kingdom, or he wanted to go back to the Godhead knowing that the Kali Yuga has started?
he wanted the purpose of retirement for Yudhishthir was to go back home to Godhead because Krishna has left.
Ji Prabhuji. So, as a good king, he should have ensured that the citizens are least affected by Kali Yuga and he is able to help them. Rather than that, he's walking away from that responsibility.
Yeah, he's not walking away from that responsibility. It will come up in for upcoming chapters that Parikshit Maharaj actually had the power to punish Kali and not let Kali flourish. But Parikshit Maharaj did not do that because that was the plan of the Lord. So he just let it be and let Kali flourish, so that the Lord's plan is successful. So the image that you have is Yudhishthir, that he gave up everything and walk towards the mountain and then follow Bhakti Yoga and then go back home to Godhead. These are all coming up in the verses. Pragya, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, somewhat.
What didn't
Yes.
get clarified?
So, again, Prabhuji, that if Parikshit Maharaj could fight back to Kali, so basically everything that is happening is Krishna Bhagwan's plan. So, if Parikshit Maharaj would have fought Kali, then we would have been in Satyug. But God didn't want it like that.
You are
So-
correct. So Parikshit Maharaj did not want to interfere with the cycle of time. It's all there. It's coming up in chapter 17 and 18 of Canto 1. There are verses and purports describing this. That Parikshit Maharaj had the ability to kill Kali right there. I will show you the visual for this on the screen. That when Parikshit Maharaj, so I'm showing the visual from future chapters, that when Parikshit Maharaj saw Kali hurting cow and bull, Parikshit Maharaj actually picked up his sword and said, "Who are you? You are dressed like a king, but you are actually acting like a Shudra. I am going to kill you right now." So Kali surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore Parikshit Maharaj had no option to kill. So I have the visual on the screen. So this is from later chapter. I'm just showing you right now that how. So this Parikshit Maharaj and on the left side you have all these bad things going on, means the breaking of the four regulative principles. This is Kali, and here's a cow and the bull where the legs are cut by Kali. So Parikshit Maharaj picked up his sword and say, "Who are you? Why are you hurting cow and bull?" But then Parikshit Maharaj realizes all this, that this is Kali personified, and does not kill because understands this is the plan of the Lord. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yeah, so Pragya, the question that you are asking is actually an actual question in chapter 17, 18 in Canto 1, where sages ask the same question. Why would Parikshit Maharaj not kill Kali right there? And we would not be in the mess that we are right now. So understand it's the Lord's plan. We can't control that. We don't want to interfere with that.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Nitya.
Prabhu, at the end of the purpose, it says that the old retired gentleman should take lessons and leave home. But for us, does it mean Grihastha Sannyasi that we detach from family life, or do we leave our home and go and retire as a sannyasi?
Yeah, it's an upcoming discussion. I will briefly answer. It's an upcoming in one of the purport. Prabhupada says Vanaprastha means that you don't have to physically go to the forest. Vanaprastha life means the last 15-20 years you spend exclusively on spirituality. Actually, it's there in verse number 38 purport. We'll soon read. So Nitya, hold on for one more minute. As soon as we read 38, you will know.
Thank you.
Gauri?
I wanted to ask, like, what was his age when he retired or took to Vanaprastha?
Whose age?
Yudhishthir's age.
It's not given the age anywhere in the scriptures.
Because if we want to, because it's probably referring to Vanaprastha, but it is said that after 50, that starts, right?
Yeah, so Vanaprastha starts when you finish 50 years. And the next verse, Prabhupada goes on to say this point about Vanaprastha, that last 15-20 years, we don't know exactly what our length of life is, but you can judge for the last, like say once you cross 50, you definitely are or should be in Vanaprastha life where you spend more and more time on spirituality. Gauri?
Hare Krishna.
Mayank?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so you mentioned about Parikshit Maharaj and Kali. So is this the same Kali that will become very powerful at the end of Kali Yuga?
Not at the end of Kali Yuga. This Kali is the same Kali that we are living in right now. That Kali, the visual that I showed you, is the personification of the Kali Yuga that we are in right now.
But Prabhuji, in the scriptures, there is a mention, right? There will be a Kalki avatar to kill.
Yeah. Kalki avatar will come and kill all the demons to end Kali Yuga. When towards the last few years of Kali Yuga. So right now, 427,000 years roughly of the Kali Yuga left. So in total, Kali Yuga is 432,000 years from Bhagavad Gita 8.17. And roughly 5,000 years have passed. Therefore, in one of the purport today we read, Prabhupada said 427,000 years roughly are still left. So towards the end, that's when Krishna will come as Kalki avatar to kill all demons and end Kali Yuga. And then Satyuga will start again.
So there is also a mention like Kalki avatar by himself won't be able to kill Kali because he'll become much more powerful, and there is also
No, Kalki
mention
avatar
about
is Krishna himself. He's going to come and kill everyone. Kalki avatar is Krishna himself. There's nobody powerful than Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, there is this I forgot the name, but he still exists in the world, and he will help Kalki Avatar to kill Kalki. Something like that is
It's not
mentioned.
possible to kill Kalki. Whatever you have heard is
Sorry,
unauthorized.
Sorry, Kali.
Yeah. So Krishna will appear as Kalki, and he's going to kill all demoniac people and end Kali Yuga.
Okay.
Pragya?
Prabhuji, I wanted to understand that this retirement, because they are talking about political thing also here. So is it retirement from the service that we pursue as our professions, or it is retirement from even what we pursue at home?
Both.
So you explain that it should be more engagement into spiritual pursuits.
Retirement from both.
Okay.
Right? It's all coming up in the verses, but I briefly answered. Yes, it's from both. Vimal Prabhu? Vimal Prabhu is disconnected. Okay. All right, let's read next verse. Pragya 38, translation and purport.
Ji Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Verse 38, translation. Thereafter, in the capital of Hastinapur, he enthroned his grandson, who was trained and equally qualified as the emperor and master of all land bordered by the seas. Purport. The total land on the earth bordered by the sea was under the subjugation of King of Hastinapur, Maharaj Yudhishthir. Hastinapur. Maharaj Yudhishthir trained his grandson, Maharaj Parikshit, who was equally qualified in state administration in terms of king's obligation to the citizens. Thus, Parikshit was enthroned on the seat of Maharaj Yudhishthir prior to his departure back to Godhead. Concerning Maharaj Parikshit, the specific word used, Vinayanam, is significant. Why was the king of Hastinapur, at least in the time of Maharaj, at least till the time of Maharaj Parikshit, accepted as the emperor of the world? The only reason is that the people of the world were happy because of the good administration of the emperor. The happiness of the citizens was due to ample production of natural produce such as grains, fruits, milk, herbs, valuable stones, minerals, and everything that the people needed. They were even free from all bodily miseries, anxieties of mind, and disturbances caused by natural phenomena and other living beings. Because everyone was happy in all respects, there was no resentment, although there was sometimes battles between the state kings for political reasons and supremacy. Everyone was trained to attain the highest goal of life, and therefore the people were also enlightened enough not to quarrel over trivialities. This influence of the age of Kali gradually infiltrated the good qualities of both the kings and citizens, and therefore a tense situation developed between the ruler and the ruled. But still, even in this age of disparity between the ruler and the ruled, there can be spiritual emoluments and God consciousness. That is a special prerogative. Hare Krishna.
So, anybody found key points from what we read?
Prabhu, developing God consciousness, it should be the prerogative in the society or maintaining God consciousness, and this would prevent the infiltration and the spread of Kali.
Okay, very good. So, what we read is, Prabhupada says that make room for younger generation and do not be attached to your position. You focus on Krishna consciousness. Therefore, what Yudhishthir Maharaj did was, he said, okay, Parikshit Maharaj is already there. Trained Parikshit Maharaj, put Parikshit Maharaj on the throne, and Yudhishthir Maharaj left. He retired from his worldly managing duties as well as his household duties. He just left. And the visual that I showed you for Yudhishthir Maharaj is also important, that Yudhishthir is alone. And this point will come up in upcoming verse, that when they were ruling, all the Pandavas were always together. But now Yudhishthir is going by himself, and all Pandavas will go individually. And this is a very important upcoming verse that we'll soon read and understand, most likely in our next class. All right. And Prabhupada says that devotees should read spiritual books, and those in management, they should also read. This is the biggest problem in ISKCON, that those who are sitting in management position, they have no clue about scriptures to a large extent. That's why there are so many differences in ISKCON. Prabhupada says, don't think that you are the only one to manage. No, have a succession plan. And similarly, the learning for us is that I should train the children to look after the household affairs so that I can retire. Leave home for spiritual realization before you are forcibly dragged by death. And Srila Prabhupada says, last 15-20 years should be left exclusively for Krishna consciousness. Therefore, make a plan. On the day you get married, if you are not already married, or if you are already married, then as soon as is possible, make a succession plan. That how should I train the children so that they can manage the household affairs, so that I can retire and I can focus exclusively on Krishna consciousness. Pragya had a question.
No, Prabhuji, I just wanted to understand what does Vinayanam mean here, but then I read that it is properly trained, and you just described that only, that we should have properly trained. Thank you.
Very good. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhu, for those who are, or those of us who are older and have missed the things, who have trained our kids, it's going to be hard sometimes to convince the younger generation that yes, now I'm going to be fully involved in only spiritual and you would take over. I don't know if we missed the boat. So how do we go about it?
Yeah, train from this point on. So make a plan from now. Yes, I understand that we started spirituality at a point where we were already up to a certain age. So therefore I said, if you are not married, then make a plan on the day you get married, or rest of us, if you have not made a plan, so make a succession plan from this point on. Train the younger children so they can manage the household affairs so that you can focus exclusively on Krishna consciousness. Yes, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's possible. You just have to train them properly. Nitya?
Yes, Prabhu, maybe this also involves them in the process, even though they don't know that they're part of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, correct. Pragya?
Prabhuji, I was thinking that this is also a very good management lesson that for businesses or other things, services, people need to have succession plan. So when we were talking about Maharaj Parikshit, and Yudhishthir Maharaj has said that he has been properly trained, Vinayanam. So is it that the training was only to run the kingdom, or that because he's graduating to moving towards the Godhead, so he's going into spirituality through bhakti route or yoga route? But Parikshit Maharaj is trained to run the kingdom, not not in the pursuit of spirituality. So how
You
does this?
learn, yeah, in the upcoming chapters, you will learn that Parikshit Maharaj was actually trained both ways. That he was trained on the path of spirituality also. Therefore, when Parikshit Maharaj got cursed, Parikshit Maharaj actually followed the scriptures to perfection and goes on to teach us a lot many things. So Yudhishthira Maharaj trained Parikshit not just for worldly affairs, trained Parikshit as well as rest of the citizens on the path of spirituality also.
Yes, Prabhuji, that is so important. So when we are talking about this succession plan for our children, so we have to teach them not only to run the household, but also how to separate from that household when they grow older and move deeper into spirituality. Have a shallower exposure to spirituality and then deeper into spirituality.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely correct. And that's what Nitya was saying just a minute ago. That okay, so it's a challenge. Yeah, so try. It's not impossible. So try. Yes, a little heavy lifting will be required to train the younger generation. It's possible.
But at one point you were told that for family you don't talk about training them, but outsiders you can. When we are doing that book distribution, it is to outsiders you're trying to bring them in this circle, but for family it is even more difficult. Just now also you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's
And
difficult, but that does not mean, so the difficulty I'm saying is that kids are already grown up to a certain age, then it's difficult to change their mindset. That's what Nitya was also pointing out. That's
yes,
the
Prabhuji.
difficulty I'm pointing out. That yes, it is difficult, but not impossible.
Yeah, maybe through our demonstration we can do rather than talking.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Yeah, demonstration is absolutely correct approach.
Thank you.
All right. We are just about 1 minute away. I will not cover rest of the chapter verses because they are all similarly important verses, learning from all these. So let me give you one homework question. In what way is the Lord like a magician? Comes from verse number 35. So I request all of you that you read these verses from 37 onwards, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 37 onwards, all the purports before next class, and you come with points from these purports that what is Prabhupada teaching us about retirement. They are important points, and therefore we went slow. Try to read these purports again with this lens and come up with points before our next class. I will, of course, send a Google form to populate tracking points and inquiries. And at some point, I will also share the Excel that we have on the screen for our Bhagavad Gita presentations. So we may switch 1 week depending on how our discussions progress towards the end of Canto 1, but we should be able to catch up. For the rest of the chapters are pretty straightforward. So though everybody try to populate your name, all of you would have to present about 2 chapters, majority of you, and those who have not responded or not yet thought of, you can consider to also do the presentation. So some of you may have a challenge to present the whole chapter. Well, then pick a half chapter. Can connect with me that is there somebody I can do presentation with somebody for half of the chapter or a portion of a chapter, and we can see what can be worked out for you all. So read chapter 15 also, and read chapter 16 also, because we will straddle into chapter 16 at our next class. We are just past 9 a.m. here in Toronto. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.